The planet Xylo was renowned for its breathtaking vistas, majestic forests, and pristine lakes. However, today, a palpable buzz of anticipation filled the air. Within a magnificent hall, adorned with otherworldly architecture, a group of young extraterrestrial women had assembled. Hailing from various corners of the cosmos, each possessed a unique allure. Some shimmered with cerulean skin, others with luminous eyes, while a few sported delicate antennae. United by a shared sense of excitement, they awaited the arrival of a human soldier. Tales of humans had echoed through the generations, whispers of fierce warriors, of unexpected courage, and enigmatic strength. Yet, none had ever encountered a human in the flesh. This was about to change. The High Council of Xylo had broadcast a message across the galaxy, a plea for assistance from the human race. A formidable task lay before them, one too daunting to confront alone. Their only hope resided in the aid of a human soldier. The hall doors parted, revealing a towering figure. The alien women gasped, their imagined visions of humans failing to capture the reality before them. The soldier stood there, not quite as they had envisioned. His uniform, while simple, clearly spoke of battles fought. His face was hardened, eyes focused, posture unwavering, the embodiment of a warrior. Yet, there was something distinct about him, a touch of untamed wilderness in his demeanor. His hair, short and tousled, framed a face etched with experience. Calloused hands bore witness to years of arduous combat. The women couldn't help but stare. They'd heard tales of human strength, but witnessing it firsthand made them feel strangely diminutive. A blush crept onto the cheeks of some, their hearts quickening. They had hoped for an attractive human, but the surge of emotions that washed over them upon his arrival was unexpected. The soldier's presence was commanding. A tall alien woman with emerald skin and amber eyes stepped forward. Lysandra, known for her intellect and composure, was the leader of their group. "Welcome, soldier," she greeted, her voice steady yet brimming with curiosity. "We are honored by your presence." The human soldier offered a slight nod in acknowledgement. "Thank you," he replied, his deep voice surprisingly gentle. "I'm here to help. Tell me about the mission." Lysandra surveyed the other women before responding. "We face a threat beyond our capabilities. Our adversaries are formidable, and we desperately need your expertise. This war has raged for years, and we've suffered numerous defeats." The soldier's eyes narrowed slightly, recognizing the gravity of the situation. "I'll assist in any way I can." The alien women exchanged glances. They had read of human soldiers in ancient records, but meeting one felt surreal. Humans, they knew, possessed unique strengths, renowned for their tenacity, their refusal to yield, regardless of the odds. Lysandra continued, "We have a strategy, but we require your assistance in the final battle. We would like you to lead us." The soldier raised an eyebrow, unaccustomed to the role of leader. In his world, soldiers followed orders, but he was prepared to do whatever was necessary. "I'll do my best," he assured them. The women were impressed. They'd been told of human fearlessness, but now they were witnessing it firsthand. The soldier's unwavering resolve resonated deeply. As they delved into the mission's intricacies, the soldier maintained his focus, attentively listening to each woman, posing insightful questions, and offering valuable suggestions. They quickly recognized his sharp mind and natural leadership qualities. More than that, they appreciated his respectful treatment, unlike other soldiers they'd encountered. The human soldier didn't condescend or judge their diverse origins. He listened with genuine concern. As the meeting progressed, the women felt increasingly at ease in his presence. The initial nervousness they'd felt dissipated, replaced by a sense of calm fostered by his steady demeanor. His eyes, though serious, held a kindness that Lysandra particularly noticed. She smiled faintly, observing the change in the atmosphere. The soldier had made a profound impact without even trying. Hours flew by as they collaborated, strategizing, planning, and exchanging cultural insights. Yet, as the meeting concluded, the women couldn't shake their thoughts of the soldier. He had guided their planning, and they had learned more about humans than they'd ever anticipated. Still, something lingered. They had never met anyone quite like him. While they'd hoped to be impressed by his appearance, it was his strength, his kindness, and his unwavering willingness to help that truly captivated them. As they filed out of the meeting room, they shared a final glance at the soldier. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: their mission rested in the hands of someone who wouldn't let them down. The planet Zora, famed for its scenic beauty, towering trees, and crystal-clear waters, buzzed with a tangible sense of expectancy. Gathered within a grand hall, adorned with unique alien architecture, were a group of young extraterrestrial women. Each, hailing from a different corner of the galaxy, possessed a distinct and captivating appearance. Some shimmered with azure skin, others had radiant eyes, and a few displayed delicate antennae. A shared anticipation united them: they were about to meet a human soldier. Stories of humans, tales of fierce warriors, unexpected bravery, and enigmatic power had been passed down through generations. Yet, none had ever encountered a human in person. That was about to change. The High Council of Zora had sent out a message, a desperate plea for help from the human race, echoing across the cosmos. They faced a daunting task, a mission too formidable to handle alone. Their only hope rested on the aid of a human soldier. The hall doors opened, revealing a tall, imposing figure. The alien women gasped, their preconceived notions of humans shattered by the reality before them. The soldier stood there, not quite as they'd envisioned. His uniform, though practical, clearly spoke of countless battles. His face was stern, eyes focused, stance unwavering, the embodiment of a seasoned warrior. Yet, there was an undeniable aura of ruggedness about him, a hint of untamed wilderness. His closely cropped, slightly unkempt hair framed a face etched with the marks of experience. His hands, rough and calloused, bore testament to years of intense combat. The women stared, captivated. They'd heard tales of human strength, but witnessing it firsthand evoked a peculiar sense of their own smallness. Some blushed, their hearts beating faster. They'd hoped for a handsome human, but the surge of unexpected emotions that washed over them upon his arrival was something else entirely. The soldier's presence was undeniably powerful. A tall alien woman with jade skin and golden eyes stepped forward. Ilara, known for her intelligence and composure, led the group. "Welcome, soldier," she greeted, her voice steady yet filled with curiosity. "We are honored to have you here." The human soldier gave a slight nod of acknowledgement. "Thank you," he replied, his deep voice surprisingly gentle. "I'm here to help. Tell me about the mission." Ilara surveyed the other women before responding. "We face a threat beyond our capabilities. Our enemy is formidable, and we desperately require your expertise. This conflict has been raging for years, and we've endured countless losses." The soldier's eyes narrowed, acknowledging the seriousness of their predicament. "I'll assist in any way I can." The alien women exchanged glances. They'd read about human soldiers in ancient texts, but meeting one felt surreal. Humans, they knew, possessed unique strengths, renowned for their tenacity and unwavering resolve. Ilara continued, "We have a strategy, but we need your help in the final battle. We need you to lead us." The soldier raised an eyebrow. Leadership wasn't a role he was accustomed to. In his world, soldiers followed orders, but he was prepared to do whatever was necessary. "I'll do my best," he assured them. The women were impressed. They'd heard of human fearlessness, and now they were witnessing it firsthand. The soldier's unwavering resolve resonated deeply. As they discussed the complexities of the mission, the soldier remained focused, listening intently to each woman, asking insightful questions, and offering valuable suggestions. They quickly recognized his sharp intellect and natural leadership abilities. Beyond that, they appreciated his respectful demeanor, unlike some other soldiers they'd encountered. He didn't patronize them or judge their diverse backgrounds. He listened with genuine concern. As the meeting progressed, the women felt increasingly comfortable in his presence. Their initial nervousness dissipated, replaced by a sense of calm inspired by his steady demeanor. His eyes, though serious, held a warmth that Ilara particularly noticed. She smiled faintly, observing the shift in the atmosphere. The soldier had made a profound impact without even trying. The training continued intensely in the days that followed. The initial awe the Zoran women felt upon meeting the human soldier, now named Rex, had evolved into a grudging respect, tinged with a lingering unease. His prowess in combat was undeniable. He moved with a primal grace, his reflexes lightning fast, his strategies brutally efficient. He taught them new fighting techniques, pushing them beyond their perceived limitations. He schooled them in the art of close-quarters combat, something the Zorans, with their reliance on energy weapons, had largely neglected. Kira, the small Zoran woman with rose-colored skin, was particularly captivated by his close combat skills, peppering him with questions. Rex, in turn, seemed to soften slightly when interacting with her, his explanations patient and detailed. He spoke of instinct and control, of reading an opponent's movements, of turning fear into a weapon. The women learned quickly, driven by a mix of admiration and a desire to prove their worth. But even as they grew stronger, the soldier's emotional distance remained. He offered praise sparingly, his expressions often unreadable. Ilara, their leader, watched him carefully. She sensed a deep-seated turmoil within him, a darkness he kept carefully hidden. One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, she decided to confront him. She found him alone in his Spartan quarters, poring over holographic battle plans. He seemed surprised by her presence, but not unwelcome. Ilara spoke frankly, expressing her concerns about his detachment, his seeming reluctance to truly connect with them. Rex, in turn, revealed glimpses of a painful past, a history of loss and betrayal that had left him wary of forming close bonds. He confessed his difficulty with trust, his ingrained habit of isolating himself. Ilara listened patiently, offering words of understanding, reminding him that they were a team, that they relied on each other. The conversation, though difficult, seemed to mark a turning point. The next day, a new mission was assigned. The objective was to infiltrate a heavily fortified enemy base located on a desolate, hostile planet. The journey was tense. The women, despite their improved skills, were apprehensive. The planet's harsh environment, coupled with the formidable enemy presence, made for a dangerous combination. Rex, however, seemed to thrive in the adversity. He was focused, his commands sharp and decisive. As they neared the enemy base, he divided them into two teams, leading one himself, while Ilara led the other. The assault was swift and brutal. Rex moved like a wraith through the enemy ranks, his attacks precise and deadly. Kira, fighting beside him, was amazed by his ferocity, his ability to turn their training into a devastatingly effective fighting style. The enemy, caught off guard, fell quickly. But as the battle concluded, Ilara noticed a disturbing shift in Rex. His eyes, normally focused and alert, now held a chilling emptiness. His movements, though still precise, seemed fueled by something darker than strategy. Back on their ship, the silence was heavy. The victory felt hollow. Ilara, troubled by what she had witnessed, confronted Rex again. She questioned his methods, the almost ruthless efficiency with which he had dispatched their enemies. Rex defended his actions, arguing that in war, compassion was a liability. He insisted that his focus was solely on completing the mission, protecting his team. But Ilara saw something else in his eyes, a haunted look that suggested a deeper struggle. She didn't press him further, knowing that trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. But she resolved to keep a close watch on him, to ensure that his darkness didn't consume him, or them. The training intensified in the days that followed. The initial awe the Zoran women felt upon meeting the human soldier, now known as Rex, evolved into a grudging respect, tinged with a persistent unease. His combat prowess was undeniable. He moved with a primal grace, reflexes lightning fast, his strategies brutally efficient. He introduced them to new fighting techniques, pushing them beyond their self-imposed limitations. He drilled them in close-quarters combat, a discipline the Zorans, accustomed to energy weapons, had largely ignored. Kira, the petite Zoran woman with rose-hued skin, was particularly fascinated by his close combat skills, constantly asking questions. Rex, in turn, seemed to soften slightly in her presence, his explanations patient and thorough. He spoke of instinct and control, of anticipating an opponent's actions, of transforming fear into a weapon. The women learned quickly, motivated by a blend of admiration and a desire to prove their worth. Yet, even as their strength grew, the soldiers' emotional detachment remained. Praise was rare, his expressions often inscrutable. Ilara, their leader, observed him carefully. She sensed a profound inner turmoil, a darkness he kept meticulously concealed. One evening, after a particularly strenuous training session, she decided to speak with him. She found him alone in his austere quarters, studying holographic battle plans. He appeared surprised by her visit, but not displeased. Ilara spoke candidly, expressing her concerns about his detachment, his seeming unwillingness to truly connect. Rex, in turn, offered glimpses of a difficult past, a history of loss and betrayal that had made him wary of forming close relationships. He admitted his difficulty with trust, his deeply ingrained tendency to isolate himself. Ilara listened patiently, offering words of understanding, reminding him that they were a team, that they depended on each other. The conversation, though challenging, seemed to mark a shift. Their next mission was to infiltrate a heavily fortified enemy base on a barren, hostile planet. The journey was tense. The women, despite their increased skills, were apprehensive. The planet's harsh environment, combined with the formidable enemy presence, created a dangerous situation. Rex, however, seemed to thrive in the adversity. He was focused, his commands sharp and decisive. As they approached the enemy base, he divided them into two teams, leading one himself while Ilara led the other. The attack was swift and brutal. Rex moved like a phantom through the enemy ranks, his strikes precise and deadly. Kira, fighting at his side, was astounded by his ferocity, his ability to translate their training into a devastatingly effective combat style. The enemy, taken by surprise, fell quickly. But as the battle concluded, Ilara noticed a troubling change in Rex. His eyes, usually alert and focused, now held a chilling emptiness. His movements, though still precise, seemed driven by something darker than strategy. Back on their ship, the silence was heavy. The victory felt empty. Ilara, disturbed by what she had witnessed, spoke to Rex again. She questioned his methods, the almost merciless efficiency with which he had dispatched their enemies. Rex defended his actions, arguing that in war, compassion is a weakness. He insisted that his focus was solely on completing the mission, on protecting his team. But Ilara saw something more in his eyes, a haunted look that hinted at a deeper conflict. She didn't press him further, understanding that trust, once damaged, takes time to mend. But she resolved to remain vigilant, to ensure that his darkness didn't consume him or them. The weight of their mission, and the uncertainty surrounding their enigmatic human ally, pressed heavily on Ilara as they journeyed back to Zora. She knew the coming battles would test them all, not just their fighting skills, but their bonds of trust and their very sense of self. The quiet camaraderie around the campfire that night marked a turning point. The shared vulnerability, the unspoken understanding that had bloomed between Ilara and Rex, now extended to the entire group. The rigid formality that had defined their initial interactions had melted away, replaced by a genuine warmth and trust. Kira, ever perceptive, noticed the shift immediately. She saw it in the way Rex interacted with the others, the subtle smiles, the patient explanations, the genuine concern in his eyes. The haunted look that had lingered there for so long seemed to be fading, replaced by something akin to hope. The next morning, the training took on a new dimension. It was no longer just about honing their combat skills, but about learning to work together seamlessly, anticipating each other's moves, covering each other's weaknesses. Rex shared stories from his past, tales of battles fought and lessons learned, offering insights into human military strategy and the importance of adaptability. The Zoran women, in turn, shared their own experiences, their unique perspectives shaped by their diverse backgrounds and cultures. The training ground became a space of mutual learning, a crucible where trust was forged in the heat of shared effort. Kira, despite her smaller stature, proved to be a surprisingly adept student, her quick thinking and agility making her a formidable opponent in close-quarters combat. Rex, recognizing her potential, took her under his wing, offering personalized instruction and encouragement. Their next mission took them to a sprawling underground complex, a hidden enemy base nestled deep within the heart of a volcanic planet. The air was thick with sulfurous fumes, the ground unstable and treacherous. The mission was high risk, requiring stealth, precision, and unwavering teamwork. As they navigated the labyrinthine tunnels, Rex's leadership proved invaluable. He moved with an almost preternatural awareness of his surroundings, anticipating ambushes, identifying weaknesses in the enemy's defenses. The Zorans, emboldened by his confidence and inspired by their growing bond, fought with a newfound courage and determination. Kira, utilizing her close combat skills, proved instrumental in neutralizing a key enemy stronghold, her quick thinking and bravery earning her the respect and admiration of her teammates. Despite the inherent dangers of the mission, a sense of lightness permeated the group. The shared jokes, the quiet words of encouragement, the unspoken understanding that flowed between them, these were the signs of a true team, a unit forged in the fires of adversity. Even Rex, typically stoic and reserved, seemed to be enjoying himself, a rare smile playing on his lips as he watched the Zorans work together with seamless efficiency. Back on Zora, the victory was celebrated not with boisterous revelry, but with a quiet sense of satisfaction. The bond between Rex and the Zoran women had solidified, evolving from a tentative alliance into something deeper, something akin to family. As they gathered in Ilara's quarters, sharing stories and laughter, Rex finally felt a sense of belonging, a feeling he had long thought lost to him. He looked at the faces around him, Ilara, Kira, and the others, and realized that he had found something precious, something worth fighting for. The mission, the war, the future, these were still uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, Rex felt a sense of hope, a belief that together, they could overcome any challenge. The future was still unwritten, but as Rex looked at the women who had become his comrades, his friends, he knew he was no longer alone. The war was far from over, but in that moment, surrounded by his newfound family, Rex felt a sense of peace he hadn't known he was capable of. He knew the battles ahead would be difficult, but he also knew he was no longer fighting just for survival, but for something far more meaningful, the bonds of friendship and the promise of a future worth protecting.